going to help him finish. He's just getting started. Okay, hello everybody. All right, I'm waiting for everyone to get on. Sorry for the severe delay. I know we were supposed to be live 10 minutes ago. Laura had a call that's overlapping. And for those of you that do not know, I don't invest in rentals. So I couldn't just start this yet. I couldn't just start this without her help. What is that? Hold on. We're having some technical difficulties today, apparently.
Are we on live?
We are live, yeah. Good thing you didn't say anything. You didn't want everyone else to know. We are live. Hello. Technical difficulties, but we're on. Also waiting for Laura. But we are on. We are here. And so we are I'm giving time. I know people in the group, the Facebook group, I just pulled it up as well. So, all right. We're good. So, we are going to be talking. This is more of Laura's forte right now. But to give some updates here, I have been talking to lenders and getting myself ready to go. My goal this year is to buy 10 rental properties. For anyone that does not know, I solely wholesale. Laura's done everything else. So I've solely wholesale. And my goal this year is 10. And so I've been setting myself up. I found my area already. I have my LLC opened up now for the rental side. I'm talking to an asset protection manager. I'm doing all of these things. And my students are getting to follow my progress here. So it's cool. I'm documenting it for the students. So for those that are getting into rentals can also see that. And we're going for 10. That's my goal this year is 10 rentals minimum. And so getting myself set up. But I can't coach on that just yet. So, Laura, I'm going to let you kind of take over now and talk about the short term and the long term rentals. And there is a PDF on this floating around. So go look for that as well so you can get that PDF. And good morning, Martina. Good morning, everyone in the REIW group. We are here. So, Laura?
Yes. So, yeah, if you do a search in the group for the PDF, we share the PDF with you earlier in this week about the long-term and short-term rentals pros and cons. So look for that PDF, and because I'm going to cover several things that are in that PDF, and they will help you to follow along a little better. So, so the problem is here that a lot of people. When I started investing over 30 years ago, and I started with rentals actually. Wholesaling wasn't really a thing. I didn't even know what it was. And so I started with rental properties, and everything was assumed to be long term, a year or longer. Now the new thing is more about short term, also known as Airbnb, and midterm up to a year. And so, kind of the transition periods a lot of people do. A lot of people use rentals as transitions. So you find a lot of these furnished rentals for 3 6 months up to a year. And then there is the long term. So there are really actually three different phases in the rental business. But this is kind of a newer thing. I think the mid to long, short term came over the last 10 years or so. So the pros and cons to everything. So that what we want to talk about is an amazing business to get into rentals, period, right? Because you are going to get passive income, long-term income, and a lot of people like that because you don't have to continuously rinse and repeat every month like you do with wholesaling, but you create a business. But there is different ways to go about it. So the first thing I want to say is decide what type of landlord you want to be. Okay, are you going to be a long-term landlord? Are you going to be an Airbnb short-term? Are you going to be a Section 8 landlord? Are you going to be what type of landlord? Boarding houses. What type of landlord are you? Because you need to focus on one thing at a time. Okay. Yeah, you can do Airbnb and long-term. You can kind of do, but you tend to do one over the other. You tend to focus one over the other because you're going to choose your properties based on what type of rentals or you're doing, right? I mean, if you're targeting Airbnbs, you're not necessarily buying property that are good for long-term or corporate rentals. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but you need to focus. Like when I say for any of the other strategy, you have to choose the area and then you choose the strategy. So if you want to decide that you're going to do wholesaling, well, you have to choose the area first, and then you do wholesaling in the area. Okay, so you have to be really clear what you're going to do. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, as far as the pros and cons, I one of the things I always say, when you intend to invest in short-term rentals or midterm for that matter, and look at the worst case scenario, that if something changes in the area, if the regulations change, the laws change, economy changes, whatever it is, are you still okay with a long-term rental? Because for me, long-term rental is kind of the security blanket, right? It's kind of something safe that I can do regardless, anywhere really. So with a short-term rental, it's like, okay, you might be in a prime area for short-term rental right now, but what if the municipality or something changes in the area and you cannot do short-term rentals anymore, right? So you want to make sure about that. The other thing is also, if you buy rentals in a community where is HOA, homeowner association, or condo association, anything of that, be careful, because they can also change the rules or regulations about you being able to do short-term rentals. So whenever I buy anything rental wise, I always make sure that worst case scenario is always going to be cash flowing and is good for a long-term rental. And then the short-term rental, the pros of it is, if you are in an area where there is a demand and it could be a good short-term rental, is that you get much more for rent on that property. A good rule of thumb is that you should be able to get about at least 2 to 3 times what your normal rent would be on that property every month. And if you rent it for 4 weekends a month, there should be more than enough to pay all your expenses and make your profit, as it would be a long-term rental. So for example, if your long-term rental, you're making, after everything's said and done, you're making $500 profit per month, your short-term rental, just by taking the weekends, should be enough to pay everything plus give you the $500 profit. Now, everything else you rent in between, during the week or Mondays and, to Fridays, that's your additional profit. So the short-term rental can end up making you at least 2-3 times what a long-term rental would. So if you cash flow $1,000 a month on a long-term rental, you should be cash flow at least 2,000 to 3,000 on a short term. So that's the pro. You can get a lot more rent than your long-term rental. But then again, like I said, be careful in choosing this rental. They will still cash flow as a long-term rental if anything changes. Okay, so those are the two main things that you want to look at as far as the pros and the cons of the situation. Now, I want to go briefly into how to analyze a deal. So if you pull up the PDF, and now I'm going to pull it up here with you so I can follow along. Bear with me here. I need to find it. Okay. So if you go into the PDF, you scroll down to the rental income evaluation. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a breakdown how I do this. And this is based more on a long-term rental, okay? So first of all, let's say we take an example. Let's think of this as a two-family building, okay? So there is $2,000 a month. You get $1,000 per door. So it's $2,000. So the first thing I take off is the property taxes. So you can look up the property taxes on a tax assessor website. It says it's $1,200 a year. Okay, that's $100 a month. You take off the insurance. So let's say, for the sake of making it easy, it's another $1,200 a year. Take $100 a month. Then let's say that you have to pay water, sewer, all that separate. So again, let's make it easy. Let's take $100 a month. They say there is some HOA or condo association that is another $100 a month. Okay, so take that there. Then the general maintenance, usually if it is like a duplex, I take about $50 per door, another $100 a month. Then there is a vacancy buffer. That's about 10% of your rental income. So that's $200, right? So now, and then your profit. One of my rule of thumbs is landlord cash flow. I want to make at least $250 per door. So that would be $500 per month. So if I take all of this, so say one, two, three, four, $500 plus the vacancy buffer, that's 700 plus your profit is 500, is $1,200. Deduct that from the 2,000, that will give me a net of $800 a month. Now the $800, okay, if you do have a mortgage on this property, that's what is available for you to service the PI, principal and interest. Now, if you don't have a mortgage on the property, that is your return on your investment, your ROI. Okay. But let's say that you do have a mortgage on the property. So then you take the $800, and you can go online and Google mortgage calculator, or if you have a financial calculator, you can actually do this quite easily once you learn how to use that. You can basically plug in $800 is what you have available for payment. Let's say 7% interest, 30 years. Okay. And it will give you the amount of what it will support a loan amount of. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm not going to look it up, and I don't know what it would be, but I say $120,000. So let's say it's $120,000, the $800 a month paid towards a mortgage of 30 years, 7%. If you have a mortgage calculator online, they're not as sophisticated, so you have to play around with the number until you might start with 120,000 and 7% 30 years, and will tell you a payment of, let's say, $920. Okay, then maybe lower your loan amount to get around 800. You have to play around with numbers a little bit. But now it tells you 120,000 loan amount. Well, I have to put 20% on top of that if I use a conventional mortgage, and that will be $145,000. That's the maximum you would pay for this property based on that rental income. Okay, so that means that if the owner wants $200,000 on this property, but based on these numbers, the maximum will pay $145,000. The only exception is a couple of things. Number one, if the rental can be raised, so if $2,000 but it could be $2,400, that obviously can change, right? So right now, yeah, it might not cash flow as much, the loan amount is not supported, but if the rental was on market at $2,400, it would be a different story. So I take in consideration, if I can raise the rent, what the rent will be. So I might be able to pay the owner a little more because of the rental is going to get adjusted after closing. So that's a big thing. The other thing is if you put a lot more down, or you are paying cash for this property, then you're looking at ROI, meaning how long it's going to take you for you to recoup your investment. Okay, so let's say, for example, in this example, you paid $145,000, or let's say $2,500 that you put a down payment, and you're making $500 a month, right? So how long is it going to take you to recoup the $25,000? $500 a month, $6,000 a year. That's about a little over 4 years, right? So that's going to take you a little over 4 years to recoup your $25,000. So meaning that for 4 years, you're not really going to make a profit on this property, but then after that, that's when your profit starts to show up like a cherry on top. So this is what our rental income evaluation works. And then we have some more information here about, let's see, more information here, how to find tenants and some other things like that. But is that clear? Did that make sense? I know I went through a lot of information quite quickly here, but that's basically how you evaluate the property, the pros and cons, some good tidbits on what to look for in deciding if it's a long-term or short-term rental. And so, yeah, Liz, are you back here in the picture?
Nope. Yes, I am here.
Okay. So now what? You're muted.
Great. It's not. There we go. I'm muted, but it wasn't like I'm muting. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to go into raffle. This is our lovely raffle of the day. This is our giveaway. We decided to do more of a raffle package here. So we are raffling off the Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone book, as well as a $50 gift card to Home Depot. How do you get entered into this? Well, easy enough. All you have to do is be a part of our Facebook group and comment the crap out of the posts, basically. We want to make sure that we're building a community here, and we're going to say this every week. So the people that get on every week are like, she says this every week. But you have to realize we have new people all the time getting onto these lives. So we have to repeat. So you join our Facebook group and you go in and you want to just comment. And the people that comment the most get rewarded just because they're helping the community. They're helping with interaction. Our group is never stale. No comments are going out, and we want to reward the people that really give back into our community. So this is the raffle winner. You have 1 week to watch this live. We do not tag, nothing. This is kind of a reward for getting on and participating. So please make sure you get on. I hope she gets on if she's not on already. And you get to get on, and you just have to email in within 1 week, and Amanda will make sure that you get all of that. So she will comment with her email here. So of course now, like, my computer wants to slow down. Okay. So our winner is Julie Gacho. Julie, congratulations. You won this amazing, fun giveaway. Okay, so congratulations. So I hope she's on. Let's all celebrate her. You won that, so we'll just get that there. And I'm going to remove this and bring us back. And we are going to go into our Ask Us Anything. So again, the Ask Us Anything, how this works is that you are allowed one question per person, and it can be on anything. On anything, literally, ask us anything that you have questions about, anywhere from mindset to real estate, anything like that. So let's go. Oh, I see some faces from the masterclass. I see a couple of you.
Before we get into that, just want to share while the questions come in. So go ahead and start typing. I want to let everybody know here that don't know as much about the community yet, or they're not part of our community, that we do have training that specializes in rentals only. We actually have a full call dedicated every Wednesday to rentals. And actually, she used to be one of our students. She done tremendously well. Young, very entrepreneurial woman. She's about Elizabeth's age. She owns over 50 rentals right now, most of them Airbnb. So she has the experience with the long-term rental. She has the experience with the short-term and so forth. So she's part of our team. She actually shows up at our events in person. She's going to be in Orlando on Saturday. So anybody here coming to Orlando and visitor, she's going to be there on site. And then also the retreat. So Orlando's kind of a last minute thing. It's kind of she says, can I come and join you guys? I said, sure. She can come and join us. So if anybody of you here is interested in rentals, you need to be part of the team or the community. And we specialize in rentals too. So don't think we do only wholesaling. We do a lot more. We do rentals. The other thing that also we do is fix and flip. Anybody interested in rental? Actually, I had one student. She closed on her first deal yesterday. She's doing a fix and flip in Texas. Very exciting. And then the other thing is also I specialize, my zone of genius is also getting into private money and syndication. That's where you can take your business to the next level. So we have training that goes into the different areas of real estate. Don't feel like we're only beginner wholesalers. We're not. Okay. We have coaches now that we address everything from beginner, and we have me and another coach who works only strictly with advanced. So I just wanted to kind of share that. So if you're interested in really getting into rentals, Airbnb, long-term, mid-term, anything that has to do with raising money for buying more rentals or fix and flip, go ahead and schedule a call with us. We can see how we can get you part of the community. We have a kickoff. Is it tomorrow, Liz?
No, it's on the 9th.
On the 9th. Okay, I'm sorry, they changed the date on me. So yeah, we have the kickoff next week about really get going with this next thing of the training, starting the training. So anybody interested here, go ahead and schedule a call, and we can tell you more about it and how you can be part of the community and get this. If you're interested in Airbnb, we have really an amazing program for you, and very excited about it. And she goes based on our philosophy and our way of doing things, because she has been trained by us in a lot of ways. So, great.
Awesome. All right. So we have 2 questions that have come in so far. I'm planning to purchase a home in the mountains. What's the best way to learn about Airbnb?
That's why you need to be on the one that calls. There is so much that goes into that, by choosing the area, how to do the research, what tools to use about researching things like that. That's something that Dawn, our coach, goes into every Wednesday. So definitely be part of that. Honestly, there is a whole thing, an hour session that she spends every week on that. But yeah, there are tools out there to do the type of research that you can see about other Airbnbs in the area, what they're doing, how much they're getting, and all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Jennifer is asking, yeah, I'm sorry, but she's like, well, thanks, dot, dot, dot. But the strategy that's a lot longer. The best ways to learn is to just take events, go to events about Airbnb and learn about that, or join the coaching program, because you get way more than just Airbnb. You get a lot of support. You have calls every day of the week,
Yeah.
almost. Like, there's just a lot more to it.
And I'm not holding anything back from you. It's not like I'm saying, okay, I don't want to tell you. It's honestly, it is a whole thing on its own. And there are different tools out there that I'm not really sure what she uses. I am more of a long-term rental person. I can tell you that right now. I can tell you in and out of long-term rentals. With the Airbnb and short-term, I leave a specialty to somebody else. So I know she uses different tools all the time, and she changes because of how things are changing in the industry. What she was telling at the retreat 3 months ago is not the same tool that we talked about when I was with her this Sunday. And I asked her, I said, so you decide to use something else then? So, that's why I said it's more something that's her specialty. So I'm not trying to hold it back from you. I'm just telling you, when we get into technical things, I'll let her do it. But there are things out there that can help you. I can tell you that much.
Yep. Jennifer is saying, have you had good success with using a property manager that lives on site, such as if you owned an RV park?
It depends on the property, yes. So if you go over, up to 4 units is considered residential, 5 units or more is considered commercial. When you start getting into a certain number of units, or mobile home and RV park, definitely you want somebody that lives on site. My thing is live on site, and they can do also minor maintenance. Now, anything major, hire somebody else to do it. But yeah, there can be some of the arrangements, and that I've seen anywhere from usually it's 12, 15 units or up that they have it on site.
All right, Martina's asking, I don't see any coming on our other stream, so it's all from the Facebook group. Any suggestion on where to search for information on the community city guidelines for short-term rentals?
Again, that's something that goes with Dawn on the Airbnb side of things, right? So that's more her specialty.
Now, and that's why we brought her in. That is exactly why we brought her in. Her specialty is Airbnb.
Yeah. Now, as far as long-term guidelines, I get a lot of the information from the National Association of Realtors site, NAR.realtor, because they compile the research and statistics based on the real data that they get from the MLS around the country. Okay. So there is a reports in there. You're going to research and statistics from the NAR.realtor that shows you what's going on, the trends in the area, the economy, job search, vacancies, all kind of stuff. But that's more for long term. With short term, you want to look at stuff like that, but also you want to look at what's happening in the area, right? So, like for example, don't assume the short term rentals are only for tourism. They're short term rentals for nurses, medical nurses, other jobs. There is a short term rental for people that have like snowbirds type situations, okay, that they do every year. They will use the same rental because they're coming from Canada. We're seeing this a lot here in Florida, and I saw this when I was in South Texas a few weeks ago. So there are different type of migrant type tenants And so there are different research tools that go depending on what your area is. And to research those areas, again, there are other tools. So that's a whole training in its own. And that's why I feel like Airbnb is a big thing within under a bigger thing, which is rentals.
All right. So they're asking, will you be talking about the property management as opposed to self-management on short-term, on the event, basically, the webinar?
That's something that you'll have to ask Don, Liz. Maybe prompt Don to mention that. So if you're going to be on the workshop, make sure you pose that as a question. If we, that would be a good question to ask her, and definitely she can get into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so we have usually Dawn will come onto these events, but right now she is prepping for the workshop tonight. So I'm actually getting off here and meeting with her immediately on that as well. So there's kind of that. That's why we do not have her on here to answer those questions, because she needs to be prepared for tonight. That is a little more.
You want to let them know about the workshop this evening?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to, because you didn't mention it. So we have a workshop tonight on short-term and mid-term rentals that is going to be hosted tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Dawn and Laura are leading this. I will be on there, but Dawn and Laura are leading this. And so that is actually where you're going to get a lot of these questions that you have answered more than on here, because that is her specialty. Okay. Sakina's asking, is obtaining agreements with HUD on Section 8 properties challenging?
No, not at all. It really depends on the area that you're in, though. Like for example, even within the same area, like to give you an example, I'm dealing with Section 8 in a city of St. Louis and a county of St. Louis. The county of St. Louis is much easier to get Section 8 approved and go through their requirements than the city of St. Louis is. So, different Section 8 offices have a little bit of different requirements. So, but yeah, no, I mean, as long as there's pretty much a checklist type approach. And once you know what they're expecting, then you just go through that. And yeah, it's no big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to post a link for tonight's workshop?
Amanda already did.
Okay. Yeah, for anybody that wants more specific questions, I know she's going to go more into a high overview of her business, how she runs her business, give you real examples of what she's doing. And then some of these questions, I'm sure she will be able to address them tonight.
Yeah. I don't know where my banner went, but yeah. All right. I don't see any other questions. Lauren, you want to say?
No, I think the recommendation, the tips I gave in the beginning to, just make sure that this is my thoughts, guys. And I'm very much about, I don't take unnecessary risks. Let's put it that way with real estate. And knock on wood, I never lost any money because I am very much of a calculated risk type person. So as great as the Airbnb business, short-term rental, and everybody wants to do it, just buy for the long term, and short term, we look at it as a bonus. Okay. Worst case scenario, you can always rent it long term. That's not going to go away.
Yes. And we were actually talking about that with Dawn this morning, because she's like, it's all great and dandy, but you have to know how to turn that into long term, because there's cities overnight, they put in laws and effects where you cannot Airbnb it out anymore. So if you do not know your numbers for the long term, imagine how much this can screw people over, right? If overnight you decide, because we have a student right now that's going to buy her for a short term, and we said, make sure you can adjust this for long term. If this doesn't work out long term, do not get this property. It sounds all great and stuff, but it does not work. Okay? So you want to know both ways. So yeah, I'm trying to see. Okay. Awesome.
Great.
Laura, anything else you want to say?
No, that's about it. I think that it's, how many do we have on the line right now?
Well, I can't see on the other ones, but 22 are on this one right now.
Great. Okay. Definitely. There's a lot of interesting rentals, and rentals is one of those things that kind of have surges of interest and then they goes down and up. So it depends on where we are in the economy. But yeah, definitely. I mean, rentals are here to stay, right? People are always going to rent. Always people are going to look for a place that they can stay temporarily. And I think it's going to just increase, honestly. So yeah, so glad to see the interest. And I know a lot of us signed up for the workshop tonight. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there.
Definitely. All right, everybody, have a happy Thursday. I'm going to see a lot of you in Orlando this weekend. We have a good turnout there. So super excited. Be safe on your way in and have a wonderful day.
Okay, take care.